Once upon a time.
Once upon a time.
Once upon a time.
Once upon a time.
Once upon a time, there lived a little village girl.
Once upon a time, there lived a little country girl.
Once upon a time, there lived a little girl in a country village.
Once upon a time, there was a little girl who lived in a village near the low forest.
Once upon a time, in a cottage near the edge of the forest, there lived a little girl who went by the name of Little Red Riding Hood.
It was obviously an alias.
Her name was Emma.
Her name was Allison.
Her name was Miranda.
Her name was Jillian.
Her name was Little Red Riding Hood, and she was very pretty.
She was the prettiest that had ever been seen.
She was beautiful, with a natural grace.
She was the most beautiful girl in the village.
This kid was so vain, she couldn't even pass a puddle without peering down into it at her apple cheeks and yellow hair.
Whoever laid eyes upon her could not help but love her.
All I can say is that I don't know what I would do without my sweet angel. She is the most perfect and beautiful and strong niece I could ever ask for.
She was loved by all who laid eyes on her.
Oh, yeah. Not the smartest, but she was better than smart. She was dedicated. She showed up every single day with her silly little sticker-covered notebook and her little fuzzy pen, and oh, she always did her best.
Everyone in the village admired her.
Red is my bitch. I remember the first day we ever met, there was this girl that was always really awful and mean and always stole my lunch. Every day for a week, Red would share her cookies and grape juice with me, and we have been besties ever since. She is kind and gentle and fierce, and she's been through some serious shit. She never really tells me all the details, though.
There was hardly a single person who was not attracted to her.
I guess she's cool, but she's kinda dumb. I mean, you take your eyes off her for 2 seconds and she wanders off into the woods. I swear to God, my own mom likes her more than she likes me. She's got no manners, no social skills, and no respect for the class chart chart.
Once upon a time, there was a fearless little girl who was loved by all. But most of all, she was loved by her grandmother.
There really is just something about her. She is the brightest, bravest little soul. She brings me homemade treats and flowers that she's picked specially for me, and they're lovely. But just spending time with her is the highlight of my day. We go on walks to the park, and we feed the ducks, and we read to each other from whatever book she's reading. We listen to music together, and at the end of the day, she always braids my hair. She takes good care of me.
Once upon a time, there was a little peasant girl, pretty and nice as a star in its season. Her real name was Allison, but she was more often called Little Red Riding Hood on account of a wonderful little cloak she always had on. The cloak was given to her by her grandmother, who was so old she didn't even know her own age. The old woman said that the cloak would bring her luck, for it was made of a ray of sunshine. And as she was something of a witch, other people believed that the little cloak was rather bewitched too. One day, Little Red Riding Hood set out along the path to deliver her grandmother some fresh biscuits and butter, when along the path, a very strange thing happened.
There are those days when one is just happy to be on this earth, when your boots are like wings and your eyes launch rockets, your veins are flowing with gunpowder. Yes, there are those days when one has a raging desire to prance upon the grass, to jump on some person's back and tug on the tips of the poplars. Today, I am completely in this kind of mood.
Oh! Oh! Young woman, unknown, wandering around the woods.
What does this old man want?
I have seen your pretty face somewhere before.
Well, of course you have.
I need to speak with you.
Oh, fine, but you must hurry. I can't stay for long.
Young woman displays hyperhysteria and severe anxiety, but in the presence of even the most harmless male, and demonstrates irritability, aggression, or narcissistic tendencies.
Excuse me, but are you talking about me?
Have I seen you somewhere? You look very familiar.
I'm on my way to my grandmother's house. I have a basket of bread and wine to take to her.
Oh, mein Gott! You are Little Red Riding Hood!
What's so astonishing about that?
Young woman presents pathological need to please or desperate desire for male approval. This is likely caused by absence of male authority figure and is a point of acute emotional instability.
Excuse me, but I'd really appreciate it if you would stop talking
I
about me
don't
like
want
that.
to awaken cruel memories in you, but
Yes?
if you are headed to your grandmother's house with a basket of bread and wine,
Yes.
there will be an evil wolf.
Yes.
You will be devoured.
That's right.
None of this will happen if you just think about what you are doing.
Oh, that's all very true.
Young woman displays total self-absorption, lack of awareness, and lack of perspective, leading to low self-esteem and possible self-harm. She can connect with others on a surface level, but has difficulty translating this into genuine emotional...
Hello? Excuse me. Hi. I will have you know, good sir, that I have been devoured an infinite number of times. And each time, it is my fault. For 1,000 years, I've had the same accident. For 1,000 years, I am revived. For 1,000 years, I will put myself inevitably in the mouth of the wolf. I always die very young, but when I return, I only have a vague memory of my previous existences.
Young woman displays memory loss, likely brought about by traumatic abandonment by father. This, paired with untreated post-traumatic stress disorder, creates hallucinatory state where young woman relives imaginary traumatic events.
If you have nothing more to say to me, good sir, I will blow you a kiss and be on my way.
Well, since you're going to your grandmother's house, I would like to be there when you arrive.
Oh, no, sir, it's best if you just stay here.
Oh, don't go, my little whisper there. I am telling you, at the very least, you must stick to the main road.
Bah! I never take the main road. All the carriages and dust and sun. No thanks.
Don't be such a little fool! If you take the main road, you are sure to arrive on time without any trouble.
Oh, but the path through the woods is so lovely. All the birds and daisies and streams.
And the wolf, my unfortunate one!
Oh, yes, the wolf. Bah, good day, doctor.
My Fräulein, there is so much that I want to know about you. Take me with you.
It's best if you just stay here. Something bad is sure to happen to you if you come with me, and then I would just feel terrible. Hi, my name is Little Red Allison. I am spirited, confident, optimistic, naive, and good-intentioned. My greatest fear is to be eaten by the wolf and to never start the day over. My greatest dream is to wake up from being eaten and continue on instead of starting over. I feel feelings very deeply, but I try to cover them up with positivity. I hate rules and authority and negativity. Sometimes I squeeze my nails into the palm of my hands when I need to calm down. I'm aware of my own story and... Oh, and I don't know how to skip. Today I will be presenting to you category number 5, stand-up comedy. Thank you. So, how about that basket food, huh? Get it? It's like airline food and basket food and... Oh, never mind. That joke never lands. Much like a quality Democratic nominee or a third party. Anyway, so we all know the story about what happened to me, right? Yeah? Wrong. That's Hollywood for you, though. Always based on true events and about as honest as an election year. All smoke and mirrors for profits. I mean, don't get me wrong, Into the Woods was great and everything, but you don't actually think that was accurate, do you? No one sings when running from their life. And everyone was drooling over Johnny Depp. I mean, come on, he was only in the movie for 5 minutes. 5 minutes. And that's what he brought to the table, the exact same range he's had for the last 20 years? Man. You know, Depp's look as the wolf was awful, but I guess it could have been worse. He could have been in Cats. Yeah, not impressed. So, anyway, let me fact check this story for you. I was walking through the woods, not skipping. Who came up with that? Don't they understand how much of a lunatic someone over the age of 8 looks like when they're skipping, let alone through the woods? And what kind of creep fantasizes about a teenage girl skipping about? Like, am I on my way to a pillow fight? No! Gross! So, anyway, I was on my way to my granny's house, that much is true, with my basket food. Oh, I'm too good. Okay, well, anyway, I was on my way to my granny's with my basket full of goodies, but with nothing as weak as bread or wine. You see, Granny is not as frail as the story says. She's more of a... Oh, how do I put this? A wild child, a cougar on the prowl. Yeah, that's a good one. So, and I come carrying Granny's favorite vodka, but armed with aspirin and water. So when I come in, I completely expect to find Granny lying in bed recovering from another weekend bender. But what I didn't expect to find was her new boy toy laying in her bed wearing her robe and undies. So, I know it seems pretty unlikely that even me, her favorite grandchild, couldn't tell that it wasn't my own Granny laying in bed, but, you know, my family has a saying. If it looks like the wolf and it sounds like the wolf, then it must be Granny. And I know my story sounds a lot like that movie, 50 First Dates, you know, the one where Drew Barrymore relives her dad's birthday over and over again, but my story isn't as scary because I don't end up with Adam Sandler. Thank you.
Once upon a time, in a bedroom community in Silicon Valley, there lived a career woman who was just beginning to make her way in the business world. Her name was Gail. Through meditation, chanting, networking, and hard work, she had earned for herself many friends, many acquaintances, and scores of contacts, and she was stashing away every other paycheck in flexible mutual funds. She had a strong, independent little girl who we shall call Jillian. Jillian loved to wear her little red cape everywhere she went, and one day, the career woman sent Jillian into the forest to go visit her grandmother in a little cottage in the woods.
Oh, I am so glad to be rid of that old windbag doctor. A man has a very narrow mind like a desk. His drawers are all in order, but always locked by a key. Oh, well, I better get going to grandmother's house now.
Oh my God! I'm really to be pitied.
Oh. Why are you so desolate, my pet?
I'm crying from despair. My very pretty mademoiselle.
Oh, well, the good God did not give us eyes to make reservoirs. Besides, if you use up all your tears today, what are you going to do when you're grown up?
But I'm gonna die today.
What's your name?
I'm called Little Piku son of Papa Piku who squints.
Oh, little Piku. Everything will be all right. Why do you think today is the day that you will die?
Mama and Papa are poor sheep farmers just like everyone else in our village. When I was 10 years old, they presented me with this shepherd's crook and sent me up the mountain to watch the sheep, because that's just how things work in this part of the world. They want me to become a shepherd.
Oh, but that sounds lovely.
But I don't want to be a shepherd.
Well, why not?
Sheep are so boring. I want to design streetwear.
Oh?
Do you know what that is?
Oh, of course. Streetwear is a style of clothing that went global in the 1990s. Yes, it grew out of California surf skate culture and New York hip-hop fashion to encompass elements of casual clothing and sportswear and Japanese street fashion. Well, you still haven't told me why you think you might die today.
Because Mama Piku's gonna kill me.
Oh, I'm sure she won't.
You don't understand. Sheep are very stupid, and they never do anything. But what you're really doing up the mountain isn't watching for sheep. You're watching for wolves.
Oh.
And when you have a fancy imagination, like I do, you see wolves everywhere. Wolves behind the rocks, and wolves behind the trees, and wolves behind the bushes. And every time I see a wolf, I climb to the tallest tree I can find and shout, "Wolf! Wolf!" towards the village. And when Mama and Papa and the others in the village heard me, they armed themselves with assault rifles and chainsaws and double-fire nunchucks and rushed up the mountain to save their stupid sheep.
Well, everything will be fine.
No! Everyone was extremely angry when they found out it was a false alarm. Especially my mother. For her, this was even worse than the time she caught me modifying her undergarments with fringe.
Oh, my.
And I told them I was doing it as a test of the village's wolf preparedness system. And I told them that I, being the author of such a successful test, obviously possessed the skills and talents and imagination that should be acknowledged and encouraged.
Well, did they give you a medal?
No. They beat me with the double-fire nunchucks and said that if I ever cried wolf when there was no wolf, they'd beat me with the chainsaws instead.
Oh, but what if you say nothing and the wolf eats all your sheep?
They will beat me with the chainsaws!
Oh. So, if you don't cry wolf, they'll beat you, and if you do cry wolf, they'll beat you?
Aww.
Well, then you might as well cry wolf. I mean, the beating of tomorrow won't be any less terrible than the beating of today.
Or maybe a thunderbolt will strike the village church today with everyone in it, and they all die, and tomorrow there'll be no one left to beat me. Thunderbolts often strike churches. And then I can move to New York City and get a studio in the fashion district.
Oh, you really are quite stupid.
I think I love you with all my heart. Will you stay here with me? We could pick strawberries and listen to the blackbirds sing and take off all our clothes and stretch out completely naked on the sand by the stream.
I can't stay here, little Piku. I have to go now.
Then come with me to New York, and we could live together in the fashion district.
Oh, but I have to get these cakes and wine to my grandmother's house.
Oh, you smell so nice. place my lips on yours and eat your crust of bread.
Good luck, little Piku. Oh, and remember, when it comes to streetwear, enthusiasts generally try to follow particular brands and try to obtain limited releases. The key to success is exclusivity through limited product scarcity.
Take me with you!
Oh, no, it's better if I go alone. Something bad is sure to happen if you come with me, and then I would just feel terrible.
No!
Whew. Hello. My name is Little Red Jillian. I am precocious, likable, genuine, jittery, and fair. My favorite activity is needlepoint. My favorite book is The Call of the Wild, and my favorite movie is The Wizard of Oz. My greatest dream is to own my own horse so I can ride it along the beach in the morning. I have a very difficult time expressing myself with words, and I bite my nails when I get nervous. I feel something bubbling up inside me, and I don't know what it is. But I will be performing category number 3, dream analysis. Thank you. So, last night, I had this dream that me and my grandmother were walking along the beach, and I could hear the seagulls and the waves, and the sounds made me want to get closer to the water. And when I finally reached the water, I looked behind me, and my grandmother's gone. But I guess I knew where she went because I wasn't too worried about her. I put my toe in the water, and it was freezing. But I let the water wash over my feet anyway. I wanted to walk further out into the water, but the sand kept pulling me in the further out I walked. And the more the sand pulled me in, the calmer I felt. But then this man showed up on his boat, and he invited me to go see the seals, so of course I said yes. On the boat, it rocked back and forth, and it was just blue, as far as the eye could see in any direction. And then I turned to the man to ask him the name of his boat, but then he's gone too, and the next thing you know, I am on the back of this giant whale when a wave, taller than the tallest mountain I have ever seen, threw me deep into the ocean. And I realized I could breathe. And then I looked down at my fingers, and they're webbed, like a duck. And I couldn't see anything. It was like somebody put octopus ink into my eyes. So, I have never actually seen the real ocean before. But the ocean comes to me in these dreams. And I always end up alone. There's no grandmothers or forests or paths or baskets or wolves. It's funny because I am so unfamiliar with the terrain, but maybe that's why I'm unafraid. I know that no matter what obstacles are thrown at me, I can just transform. I can use my webbed fingers to swim deeper and deeper into that big, big blue, where no wolf can ever find me. Because in the dream, it's my story. Thank you.
Once upon a time, there was a little kid with no name. Her father was into lumber, but he was a small-timer. Even though he sometimes sat it out with the cool one while the kid did all the heavy hitting, she loved him anyway, and so what if he and her mother didn't have enough time to name her? Everyone just called her Little Red. They called her this because the kid just loved to spend time with her grandmother, who lived in a cottage near the edge of the forest, or at least someplace in New Jersey. The grandmother was a batty old biddy who just loved to make clothes, and one day she made the swellest red cape for the kid you've ever seen. One day, the father gave the kid some time off to go visit the old biddy in her forest cottage.
Little Piku. I hope the wolf doesn't bother him today. Bah! It's time to be rid of these sad ideas and get to Grandma's house. Oh my goodness.
I'm interested in girls who either study dark matter, physics, or astronomy at Oxford or Cambridge. I'm into white American girls or white American brunette girls. I say yes to everyone to save myself time, but most of you ladies can't even read, can you? An STD test is required, so if you won't get one, don't bother. And I like boobs. I don't like ass at all. Hey. Hey. Red. I know you're there. Hey. Come on, what are you doing? Who's that walking in these woods?
Hey, Romeo.
Hey.
Hi.
Hey, my little flower.
What's going on, Romeo?
Hey, what are you doing today?
Oh, I'm actually on my way to my grandma's
Yeah,
house.
you doing good?
I'm doing
Yeah,
okay.
you want to come over here?
Oh, no, that's okay.
You don't want to come over here?
Nah,
I can come to you.
Oh, no, that's even worse. That's okay.
No,
I'm sure
hey,
you got
listen. So you're into astrology, right? Because I checked my co-star today, and it literally said you need to go on a date with me.
Well, anyways, I'll just be going. I don't want to keep
No,
you
no.
from...
Hey, I got time. Hey, can I ask you a question?
What's up?
I've been trying to figure out how to talk to girls, and I've been trying to come up with something all day. Can I try some on you? Are you a campfire? 'Cause you're super hot and I want some more. Do you like my shirt? Do you want to feel it? Do you want to know why it's so soft? It's 'cause it's made out of boyfriend material. Do you work at Dick's? Because you're sporting the goods.
Listen, Romeo, I really gotta get going, but
Hey,
please
no,
have a nice
come
day.
on. I can come with you. My parents always told me to follow my dreams.
Oh, that is okay.
No, come on. Seriously, I've missed you. Haven't you missed me?
I'm really gonna be late.
Miss me. Now you gotta kiss me. Just kidding. You would never kiss me, right?
I'll see you later, Romeo.
What's wrong with you today? You're acting super weird.
Listen, I've really gotta get going.
Take me with you.
Oh, no. It's better if I go alone. If you come with me, something bad is sure to happen to you. And then I just feel terrible.
Well, what are roses good for? And why has God placed them in our path if not to be gathered and smell so sweetly? What are strawberries for if not to pluck them from the vine and taste their sweetness? Don't run away from me, bitch.
Please just
No,
let me
I mean,
go.
really, what the fuck do I gotta do to get your attention? I masturbate to your picture at least 17 times a day. I need more from you. How can I get more from you, slut?
Hello. I am Little Red. I am ancient, mystical, wild, and infinite. I am well versed in who wolves are, and my greatest dream is to slay them all. When I get anxious, I pick at the handle of my knife, and I constantly count the backs of my teeth with my tongue. I always scan a room for exits. I am a witch who comes from a long line of magic. I don't need saving. I will be performing category number 1, storytelling. Once upon a time, in a village in the far north, there lived a little girl. Her name was Red Riding Hood, and she was called this because she always wore a thick red cloak with a hood. It had been given to her by her grandmother, who had worn it long ago when she was a child. Now, she was old and frail, and lived in a cottage in the middle of the forest. Almost every day, Red Riding Hood would go with her mother and father to cook supper for her grandmother and to sit and talk. Red Riding Hood loved to visit her grandmother more than anything in the world, but she would never go alone because she was frightened of the forest. Red Riding Hood was frightened of many things. She was frightened of dogs, and of going to bed by herself, and of thunder, and people she did not know, but most of all, she was frightened of the forest. "Why do you never go play in the woods?" said her parents. "Because it is dark under the trees," said Red Riding Hood, "and in the winter, you can hear wolves howling." "There haven't been wolves in the forest as long as anyone can remember," said her parents, laughing. But the old woman took the child aside and said to her quietly, "Not everyone can hear the howling like you can. They think it's only the wind in the trees." One morning, Red Riding Hood's parents said to her, "We will be busy today, but you can easily walk to grandmother's house on your own. The path through the forest is clear, and there will be a full moon." Red Riding Hood said nothing. She packed a very sharp knife into the basket with the bread and jam. And all day at school, she could think of nothing but whether she dared to walk through the terrifying forest alone. She couldn't play with the other children because she was so frightened. She couldn't eat because she was sick. And when at last school was over, Red Riding Hood walked to the edge of the forest and stopped and listened. At first, she heard nothing, but then she heard a sound from somewhere near the edge of the forest. It was the howling of a wolf. Red Riding Hood thought of her grandmother, all alone and old and frail, when suddenly a burst of wind blew snow into the air, and over the wind she could hear a cold voice calling, "Run home, little girl, for this is the night of the wolf." She then heard a low growl and saw a streak of gray moving toward her grandmother's house. Red Riding Hood ran headfirst into the forest. She ran and ran and ran until her side hurt and her heart beat so fast she had to stop to catch her breath. But she ran on until at last she reached the cottage. "Grandmother! Grandmother!" she cried, "I'm here!" "Lift the latch and walk in," called a thin and quavering voice. "Grandmother! Grandmother, are you ill?" Red Riding Hood opened the door and ran to the bedroom. In the high wooden bed huddled a shape under the bedclothes. Red Riding Hood moved closer. "My, what big eyes you have, Grandmother." "All the better to see you with, my dear," said the shape. "And what big ears you have, Grandmother." "All the better to hear you with, my dear." "And what a strange nose you have, Grandmother," said Red Riding Hood, moving closer still. "All the better to smell you with, my dear," said the voice. And Red Riding Hood could see a mouthful of yellow, pointed teeth. "And what big teeth you have!" she cried, backing away. "All the better to eat you with, my dear," snarled the shape as it leapt from the bed. It was a gray wolf. Red Riding Hood screamed, and as she screamed, she could hear her grandmother calling out to her, "Quick, child, quick, let me in." Red Riding Hood flung open the door to the kitchen, and there was grandmother, pulling a blazing branch from the stove. With this branch, she advanced on the wolf, old and frail though she was. The wolf was frightened of the flame, and it circled fiercely around the old woman, trying to get behind her to spring. Red Riding Hood could see that soon the branch would burn out. The wolf gathered itself for the kill.
Hey there, little Red Riding Hood. You sure are looking good. You're everything a big bad wolf could want. Hey there, little Red Riding Hood. I don't think little big girl should go walking in these spooky old woods alone. What big eyes you have, the kind of eyes that drive wolves mad, just to see that you won't get chased. I think you ought to walk with me for a ways. What full lips you have, they're sure to lure someone bad. So until you get to Grandma's place, I think you ought to walk with me and be safe. Gonna keep my sheep suit on till I'm sure that you've been shown that I can't be trusted walking with you alone. My name is Little Red Emma, and my talent is singing. I am unapologetic, fierce, curious, independent, and effervescent. My greatest dream is to become a butcher, and my greatest fear is being alone forever. I rip my hair out when I'm nervous, and I stutter when I'm in front of men. I am easily manipulated and taken advantage of, but I'm strong enough to redeem myself from it. I love my mom, but I almost never listen to her. I know my fate, and I accept it. Everything is always my fault. What big heart I have, the better to love you with. Little Red Riding Hood, even bad wolves can be good. I'll try to be satisfied just to walk close by your side. So until you see things my way, before we get to Grandma's place, Little Red Riding Hood, you sure are looking good. You're everything a big bad wolf could want.
No words. I have tortured my brain, and I have buried my eyes in books in vain. And it's all for nothing. Nothing, not even the beginning of a sentence or the end of an idea. When I can't write, I can't escape myself. Where's my girl?
I'm here.
Where's my honey?
I'm right here. Where's my red? Here's my red.
Tell me a story.
Oh, I have lots of stories.
Tell me a story about me.
All my stories are about you.
What are you doing here?
Tell me about you.
I'm the huntsman.
No one cares about your story.
Yes, I remember a very dark place and a man with a knife.
Oh, that's me. I'm the man with the knife.
Would you please stop talking to her?
Oh, you were just wandering through the forest and you happened across her window.
I thought I'd step outside and take a better look.
What were you doing outside her window?
And when I went inside, I found the wolf asleep.
He was snoring so loudly.
Oh, you were inside him.
I was never inside the wolf.
And I was your only hope.
I never needed help.
So I took out my shearing knife.
I knew it was the wolf the moment he opened his mouth.
And I slit his belly open.
I had a plan of my own.
But when I looked inside his tummy, I saw a glowing red cat.
I told him I needed to go outside to take a shit.
So I cut deeper and deeper until I pulled you out.
He tied a string around my ankle and let me go outside.
And when I pulled you out, you said...
And I ran all the way home before he knew what had happened.
And when I pulled you out, you said... Oh, it was so dark inside the wolf's body. Oh, how frightened I was.
The wolf never touched me. Just ask Grandma's fucking cat. That little bitch saw the whole thing.
Tell me another story.
Sometimes I'm the wolf.
You are not the wolf or the huntsman. You're full of shit.
Do you think I'll ever make it back to Mama and Papa's house?
Oh, only if I take you there.
Stop talking to her.
Everyone's always telling me how sweet I am.
Stop talking to him.
I think you're beautiful.
Close your eyes, my sweet writer.
I'll close my eyes and I'll write you again.
You can't write me, you poet. You have no idea who I am. I am the avenging archangel of good intentions.
I know everything about you.
I am the relentless purveyor of precocious resourcefulness. I am the pitiless ghost goddess of authenticity.
You don't exist without me.
You built a temple to me at the center of your heart, but I am not your mistress. I am the cold-blooded butcher of shameless fabricators. Stop talking to her! You talk to me! What are you laughing at?
How beautiful you are when you're mad.
What?
Oh, look at you. You need a drink.
Go to hell.
Those big brown eyes. You look like a queen.
What do you want?
We're in this together, you know.
You didn't write me.
Oh, you and me.
I am not your story.
I mean, really. Truly, those big brown fucking eyes, huh? Once a bitch, always a bitch, that's what I say. You're just a fucking puppet. I'm the wolf now, huh? I think I have the beginning of a sentence.
I'm gonna pardon you for your insults, writer. I'm going now to my grandmother's house to pay for my pleasures.
Take me with you.
It's better if I go alone. Something bad is sure to happen to you if you come with me, and I would just feel terrible.
God, I feel so good. Kiss me.
Goodbye.
Once upon a time, there was a little girl. She was the prettiest and youngest in her family, and she'd always been indulged by her grandmother, who had knitted her a shawl so red that it had the brilliant but ominous look of blood on snow. Midwinter is the worst time in all the year for wolves, but the strong-minded girl insists that she will go off through the wood alone to visit her reclusive granny. She bundles up tight and draws the red shawl over her head, prepared for the 2-hour trudge through the snow. She packs a very sharp knife into the basket her mother had prepared with oatcakes and jam. Children don't stay young for long in this savage country.
Good God. I am never going to make it to my grandmother's house if these men won't quit distracting me. Sometimes I just have to cry, but never for very long.
Yes, I am a bastard of a butterfly. I am the grasshopper's own godchild.
What a strange person I see there. Hello?
Who's calling me? Oh, is it you?
Yes, it's me, Red Riding Hood.
Oh, yes, you. Yes, I recognize you. A little girl takes this path that leads to the crossroads. She collects flowers on her way. Yes. Oh, would you like me to make you a crown of flowers? But first you must tell me your name. I've always forget.
Red Riding Hood?
Yes. Yes, I always forget. You won't take me back to him, will you, little girl? I haven't hurt a soul, just please, just don't take me back.
Back to that writer, you mean? He's a terrible man.
No.
Oh, back to that lover, you mean, then? No, I wouldn't wish him on anyone.
No, I don't know him.
Oh, then you mean little Piku. No, he's very stupid, but he won't hurt you.
No. I mean that terrible man with a beard and glasses. He's always talking, and he pours water on me like I'm a vegetable garden.
The doctor. Then you're a madman. I never would have guessed.
Oh, well, my mind is a bit sick, but it's no reason to bruise my skull and pull my ears.
Don't worry. I won't take you back to him.
No.
Has it been a long time since you escaped?
I don't know. When one is happy, one rarely knows since when. Oh, would you like to hear a story about a hummingbird and a butterfly and a princess? Not a butterfly. But first, you must tell me your name.
You really are amusing. My name is Little Red Riding Hood.
Oh, well, my hood, sit down and listen to my story.
No, siree. It's getting late, and I must run quickly to my grandmother's house.
Okay, once upon a time, there was a hummingbird and a princess.
I'm going now.
And,
goodbye.
Well, once upon a time, there was a
Aren't you going
hummingbird
to
and a
ask
princess.
to come with me?
Oh, well, I will if you'd like me to, but I don't know where you're going.
To my grandmother's house.
Oh, well, yes, but I don't even know your name.
My friend, you are the very first person who has never asked to come with me. Promise me that you'll think of me from time to time.
Oh, I want to. I want to very, very much, but I don't know your name. Well, what's the matter?
I do want to hear your story.
What's the matter? You're trembling.
Didn't you hear the beast?
Oh. Oh, don't be afraid. I'm here.
How nice you are, my madman. I'm listening. Once upon a time.
Oh, there was a hummingbird and a princess, and they were madly in love. And the humming... Oh, are you listening?
I am so tired.
Yes. And the king and queen were against their marriage because the hummingbird was just too... Are you sleeping?
My heart is so heavy.
But one day, the hummingbird said to the princess,
Your story is very nice. I am so tired of my story.
Oh. She's sleeping. She's breathing so slowly. I am very happy.
Hello. My name is Little Red Miranda. I am sweet, sheltered, curious, bright, and girly. When I grow up, my greatest dream is to be able to protect my mom. I have a carefully curated giggle. I love flowers and whittling and counting the bird's nest as I walk and talking to strangers. I haven't had to make a lot of decisions in my life. When I grow up, I want to be a spy and also learn to swim. I am nobody's meat. I will be performing category number 2, upside down yo-yo tricks. You know what? Fuck that. Fuck the wolf. I am sick of hearing big bad wolf this and big bad wolf that. Like, fuck off, dude. This story is mine, not his. He gets his stories. He gets the 3 little pigs. He gets Romulus and Remus. I get this one story. He thinks he can have whatever he wants, but he can't have me. This is not about some sleazy predator that never learned the basic rules of consent. The wolf is a slimy, fuckface, spineless coward. Yes. A narcissist. Yeah. And all this hype and attention that he got from that goddamn story. only pumped up his already planetary fucking ego to bursting.
Tell me
The guy's dead, and he's still getting recognition for my story.
Yeah, what the hell is that about?
You can't hear the name Little Red Riding Hood without somebody mentioning the wolf.
No, you can't ever.
But this story's not called The Big Bad Wolf.
Sure
Not tell what it is.
It's called Little Red Riding Hood.
Yes!
Little Red Riding Hood.
Riding
Thank you.
Hood.
Spare me that you didn't say nose. Or it seemed like you were into it. I'm tired of it being my fault. I'm tired of the inequality engraved into us. I want to stop looking over my shoulders on dark nights. I want out of the belly of the beast. I want to be done with you. And if I ever get to write this story, it won't be a fairy tale. It will be real life.
The wolf gathered itself for the kill. Red Riding Hood reached into her basket and pulled out the great sharp knife. Just as the wolf was about to spring, Red Riding Hood leapt forward and plunged the knife deep into its heart. It gave one terrifying snarl and fell dead on the ground in a pool of blood. With the help of her grandmother, Red Riding Hood skinned the wolf, and together they made a lining of its fur. "Listen, granddaughter," said the old woman as they worked, stitching the lining into the blood-red cloak. "This cloak now has special powers. Whenever you meet another child who is shy and timid, lend them this cloak, and like you, they will grow brave." So whenever she met such a child, Red Riding Hood did as her grandmother had asked. But the rest of the time, she wore the cloak for herself. And for many years, it kept her warm as she explored deeper and deeper and deeper into the great forest.
You need to remember the people who actually love and care about you. You're not going to want to talk to them, but you have to. You have to force yourself to talk to them, even though you don't want to, even though in your heart, deep down, you think that keeping it all inside is going to help. But it doesn't. Your sisters, your family, your friends, you need to go to them, and you need to tell them what's wrong.
Your mom will be your best friend, your biggest ally, and your best resource. She may not be there in the beginning as much as she could have. She'll make mistakes and she'll let you down sometimes, but don't hold that against her. She has her own stuff too. Once you get older, you'll start to form a connection and she'll teach you how to understand your feelings and emotions. Things that other people in your life just won't be able to talk about. She'll teach you to love yourself.
You are going to have a really big revelation, and it is going to be a great comfort. You're going to realize that you are not the point. And when you realize this, you'll gain a superpower. You'll be able to love everyone. No matter who they are, you will love them. You won't be able to help it. This will be a great weight off of your shoulders.
When it happens to you, it's gonna be rough. And you're gonna feel like you can't get through it. But you will. Because you know what good is. And you're gonna learn how to be good to other people and how to be good to yourself. You have to go deep inside yourself when things get messy and complicated, because when you do, you're gonna come out the other side and you're gonna realize how amazing and awesome your life really is.
Never underestimate the bad people of the world. They can do a lot of damage, so be prepared. And they travel in packs, so you're gonna need to learn to do that too. You'll find friends, and you'll make each other stronger and safer. Never, ever forget that you are strong and independent and beautiful. You can use this to your advantage. But never, ever forget the brain under the little red